Tonight, I want to talk to you about providing opportunity for people with IDD, and I want to introduce you to some very special friends of mine by way of their pictures on the screen during this talk. IDD is intellectual and developmental disabilities, and so these would be individuals who have diagnosis of things like Down syndrome, cerebral palsy, on the autism spectrum, and individuals with IQs that test under the level of 70. These individuals on the screen, they're just like you and they're just like me. They have hopes, they have dreams, they have fears, they can earn money, they can fall in love, they can better themselves, they can do all of those things. But they do require a lifetime of supports and services to help them have the possibility of a truly meaningful and fulfilling life. And they are one of the most exploited groups of people on the planet. And so tonight, what I'm asking you to do is to open your mind and your heart a little bit and to begin to dream bigger dreams for people like my buddy Robert up on the screen right now. You see, the reason that we need to think about this is we haven't always done very good with this population. As recently as during my lifetime and most of ours in this room, our best solution when people needed assistance with a loved one who had these kinds of issues, our best thinking in this country was to warehouse them off in these big institutions run by states that we called schools. And usually these were few and far between, they were isolated, and so this loved one ended up being hours away from family, and it created isolation and circumstances that were ripe for abuse and neglect. And that's exactly what happened. And there was really deplorable things and just unacceptable things in our country and around the world, but right here at home. Thankfully, there were some things that began in the 70s to turn the tide on that, and there was this one individual who I'm sure you've probably heard of. His name was Geraldo Rivera, a young investigative reporter, and he was actually one of the key figures in this. He did an expose on this, one of the largest of these schools called Willowbrook in upstate New York, 6,000 residents. And when America saw the images of how these individuals were living, we decided it was unacceptable. Times have changed, it's taken decades, but states now take the money that we used to spend on those institutions and warehousing, and we put it in the MEDICAID home and community-based waiver. Now those monies are made available to the individual and their loved ones so that Rachel and David, who are on the screen right now, that David can make choices about how he wants to best spend the money to stay in his own home, his own community, among his own peers and relationships, and have the opportunity for a meaningful life. And so he and Dennis and Stephen, they can build relationships and friendships, and they can have a choice and opportunity just like you and I enjoy in our own communities. That sounds like a good idea, right? And so what happens now is they can participate with agencies in their community to get education, to better themselves, and to empower themselves, to raise that level of individuality just a little bit in their own life, and to give them the opportunity to be more self-sufficient. They can participate in work activity programs where work is brought in from area businesses, and now they can use their resources to get into these programs, and they can do things with their own hands and earn their own paycheck and experience the value that comes from getting that paycheck in your hands. They can also, some of the more highly functioning and independent individuals, they can hire a job coach, and they can go out into your businesses and they can compete for jobs, have a job coach that helps them get that job and keep that job, and they can earn at minimum wage or better depending upon their situation and participate in the community. They can now be a part of relationships where they can enjoy the same things you and I do, the beach, parties, all the tourist events and the parks that are around us, and they can have this truly meaningful life and meaningful experience. But I bring it to your attention because though we've made a lot of progress, we have a long way to go. See, in the state of Florida, we currently rank 50th in the nation in terms of fiscal effort to care for this population. And the truth is that every budgeting cycle, it is a struggle. Right now, there are about 40,000 individuals on the MedWaiver program and another 20,000 waiting to get on. And even though we used to spend $145,000 a year per person to institutionalize, and the average MedWaiver contract is only about $30,000, we still struggle thinking that we're spending too much money on this population. So I want you to get informed. I want you to engage. I want you to advocate on behalf of these people. And I want you to help create opportunities. Invite them to come and interview for positions and give them roles within your own companies and businesses. Bring contract work to the agencies who support these individuals to give them an opportunity to do something meaningful and to earn a check with their own hands and their own efforts. Just asking you to care, to be involved, because you really can make a difference and help to provide opportunity for people with IDD. And I would love to be a part of helping you to take those steps and make that happen. Thank you.